Hello everyone! How is it going? It's Ashley Wolf and welcome to Satur-Dye Night Live. Tonight we're going to talk about the movement of color, how color moves, how you can stop it from moving, how you can encourage it a little bit, and how you can totally let it go wild. So I'm going to rotate my phone because no, it's not letting me. So whenever I'm talking to you guys or showing you guys stuff in the light box, I'll be straight up and down. But for some reason, whenever I rotate my phone, it's like Facebook just chooses like, oh, it's, 7 p.m. on a Saturday, middle of May. Let's not let anyone rotate their phones who wants to go live. So it's like a whole conspiracy against me, right? Like the plandemic. We won't go there. So just say a little hello if you're here, and we're gonna go ahead and start. So like I say, you guys are gonna be turned sideways whenever it's time to show you the dye pots, but really that's no big deal, okay? Because it's not my face. So we are going to talk about the movement of color tonight. This is going to be really fun. It doesn't sound like, oh my gosh, such a cool topic. I mean, to me it does. But I have over the years learned so much about how color moves, how water level affects color movement, and how you can block color from moving if you so desire. Hey Belinda, hey Jane. So say a little hello that you're here, and I'm pretty much gonna get started. So I've got some minis dyeing up tonight. Mini skeins are so much fun to work with in knitting projects, and then so much fun to create. And when you have a colorway, it is so easy to pull a mini skein set out of just one colorway. So awesome. Hey Kirsten, how are you? So I'm gonna just tell you how I do it, show you a little bit of how I do. And I want to take you over to my drying rack because I've got some gone viral minis drying already. These were the ones that I took out of the dye pot just a little while ago. There are 4 of them. So that's basically half of what I need. I'm going to be dyeing another 4 of them with you. So this is what they look like pretty much when they're done. Okay, and looky, I got a wine rack from my neighbor, and I said, oh my gosh, that is perfect for drying yarn and then storing it thereafter, because looky, if I just go get a skein of yarn. Dun, 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 dun. It's not a wine rack. It's a yarn rack. Okay, we are going to start with the yarn that's going to go in those mini skein sets. Now, what I typically do with my mini skein set, if I have a colorway with 4 colors, I will dye one mini skein that is the entire colorway, and then the remaining 4 mini skeins are going to be a semi-solid of each of the 4 colors in that colorway. However, Gone Viral is so super special because it has the 4 colors, but there are 2 or 3 colors that when they mix together, talk about color movement, right? When they mix together, they're created in the colorway. So when I was thinking of this mini skein set, I said, well, how can I get that green in there that's mixed with the gold and the turquoise? How can I get that really mysterious, gorgeous, like deep fuchsia that mixes with that navy blue? And so in my mini skein set, and I'm going to show you this in just a second, I'm doing not semi-solids for the 4 remaining You just saw the colorways of the Gone Viral. I'm gonna do a 2-color combo. And if you've been watching a lot of my videos in the last 2 weeks, you've seen me with 2 jars, 1 yellow, 1 blue, and then we mix the colors over to make that green. So that's what I'm gonna be doing for some of these mini skeins. So like I said, y'all, I'm gonna be turning you sideways. You're gonna go sideways. It's not gonna correct itself, but it's okay because it's just for the dye pots. Let me prop you up. Yes, rotate your phone, I know. And let's get going. And y'all, I've been like totally into the music from the 80s this last week. My gosh. So I'm gonna turn on just a little bit of music, but like at such a low level, I'm probably gonna be the only one that can hear it, but that's okay. Hey Alexa, turn on NXS Radio on Pandora. If you haven't tried NXS Radio, it's awesome. Alexa, turn the volume to a level 2. Alexa, turn the volume to a level 3. Let's be crazy and do a level 3. All right, so in my 2 jars, I've got my yellow and I've got my blue. This is for the Gone Viral mini skeins. Now remember, without plastic wrap, we have to keep the color contained. So this is one way that I'm gonna do it. I've got my mini skeins ready to go. They're all squeezed out. Okay, here they are. I'm finding the middle. Okay, finding the middle. But then what I'm gonna do, and y'all can't really see that, there we go. So I found the middle, and then I'm gonna pull my hands out just a tad, because this section here on the top is where I want my green to be. So I'm gonna go in, guiding in to the blue, and yes, it falls into the gold, but I'm going over. Don't leave it too long, because whenever I guide it over to make this green, I don't want the blue like going in there into the jar. So just a dip and out. And I've got that lovely green. So when we're thinking of color movement, you can control the color movement by moving the yarn to the color. And opposite, you can move the color to the yarn. But in this instance, I'm moving the yarn over to the color. I'm gonna do it just a couple more times. I really don't want like a clear line of like yellow, blue, green, or whatever the order is. I really want a nice fade. So we go back and forth. And these are 3 mini skeins for the Gone Viral colorway. Any of y'all like 80s music as much as I do? We got Tears for Fears right now. Loving it. And I know that in the Gone Viral colorway, this green is really not as prevalent as the others, so I'm happy with this amount of coverage of the green. Okay, so the jars also create a double boiler effect. So even if the water in my pan, my pot, is bubbling over, it's not going to be agitating the yarn, which is perfect because I don't want to agitate my yarn. All right, so color movement, moving the yarn to the color. All right. Top on that. So now let's go over here, and I'm going to show you how to do the actual colorway in the mini skeins for the Gone Viral. So in the interest of time, I've already laid my little 3 skeins out. Oh, crud. This should be 4. Darn. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is! Yay! The past me was so smart. Okay, so talking water level, This is extremely low water level. Now here is my little trick. I've not shown many people, but I'll show you. You know why? Because I love you. That is why. All right, on high with the crock pot. Now watch this. I can't zoom in really, but what I'm gonna do with my tongs is I'm gonna pinch up a blockade of yarn, and that's gonna keep the color from moving. But you can't do this with a high water level. You have to do it with the perfect water level. So watch this. Pinching up. You might also notice that there's a little bit of color like already on this yarn. That is because I am such a stickler. So I'm just making a plus sign, y'all. Do you see my little... Any Game of Thrones fans, for some reason, I always think of the wall on this part. And I don't know why. It's so small. But I think of like the intro of Game of Thrones where they're going through the whole, all the worlds and whatever of the 9 realms or whatever it is. So I'm just pinching up the yarn, making my little blockades. And the reason why I don't care that there is already like, look at this pink. It's because the Gone Viral mini skeins that were over there on the drying rack, they were in here first, and there's a little bit of leftover color. I don't have to dump the water. The dye that I put on top of this yarn is gonna totally take care of this. It's like getting a tattoo covered up. It's probably gonna be just fine. So comment below and tell me what y'all are watching on Netflix or something while I put this dye on. Or you can comment and tell me what is on your needles right now if you're a knitter, or what is on your hook right now if you're a crocheter, or maybe what's on your loom right now if you're a weaver. I'm gonna get my old dust mask on because I'm working with professional acid dyes. The dust and the fumes are what I want to avoid breathing in. So yeah, comment below and you tell me what you're watching or what you're working on. If you have any dye questions, my friend Kirsten James is on, and she is a pro at answering dye questions for me whenever I can't get to them. Now I do see that my jars are starting to simmer, so I'm gonna just keep my eye on it. Like I said, they're safe in that jar. I really do want to get the heat up, but I don't want it to agitate. All right, got my measuring spoon, and I know I'm gonna cover up this hot pink right away with hot pink, just in its own little quadrant. Now, since the water level is low, I'm gonna go ahead and start spreading. So this is my sprinkle and spread method, because I don't want the color to sit there and make a dark spot. So if I sprinkle it and spread it right away, I can move the color over. So part of color movement is moving the yarn to the color, and in this sprinkle and spread method, I'm moving the color around on the yarn. Now, sometimes the blockade that I just pinched up starts to sink down because of my movement of the yarn. I can just push it around, or I can get my tongs back out and pinch it up again. I'm gonna check the questions here. So the little ridges work all the way down, huh? You know, the ridges do kind of work all the way down, Jane, and the reason why is because the water level is so low. So I don't have to worry about the color seeping underneath underneath the yarn, because it is just sitting flat on against the crock pot. So when I flip it, I will have to fill in, which is what I call flip and fill. So Yeah, so that's a good question, Jane. The water level, not the ridges, is what keeps the color from going down to the bottom. Nice, Belinda. You love your little stitchy fried egg stitch marker. I kind of wish I had kept one for myself. I might just need to go buy some more. All right. Always clean your tool between each color. Another tip, I lay out my colors in order that I want them to appear on the yarn. That's just one way of staying organized. That has helped me over the years so much. Here's that deep navy. So in the mini skeins, the navy and the pink will go together in the jars. Sprinkle and spread. Okay, so I know that the edges of the crock pot right in here is where the color likes to move the most. So I'm gonna be real careful. But I still want the pink and this dark navy to interact. So watch this. This is so much fun. I take some dark in my little measuring spoon and I bring it over. I'm encouraging it a little bit to mix here. Only when I'm comfortable. And then of course I move the little minis around just a tad. The more you move the yarn, the more the water will move with the dye in it. You know, water is always seeking the lowest point. So I want a little more mix, just like the mix here. I don't want it to be just a straight line from one color to the other. So I'm encouraging it to move around a little bit. Wipe off. Gold. Now another thing that you want to consider when you're dyeing yarn is the amount of water that you're going to have on your countertops or your table or the floor. Like for example, there's water just going off because this lid of course does not belong on this pot. So it's a little big, so the water's just kind of dripping down. Just have towels ready. And when I say towels, I mean cloth towels. Don't go out and buy paper towels. There is no need. You can go to Goodwill for some towels. You can go to Goodwill for your crock pots. Goodwill, Goodwill, Craigslist, Goodwill, Goodwill. Y'all, I have only bought one brand new crock pot for my dye business. And it was one of those fancy like triples, you know, with that are really good for dips. The 3 tiny ones side by side that are really good for dips. And I've only used it about 4 times. For me personally, it has not yet become one of the crock pots that I use all the time. This is Old Faithful right here. This is the first one, the original, the OG. Actually, it would be the OC, right? The O crock pot. This gold is beautiful. I do want to encourage it to go down deep. You may not be able to see much because of the angle, but we are ready for our last color, this gorgeous turquoise. Blue spreads really, really well. You do not need a lot. So does red. Oh, you're so gorgeous. Yes, I talk to my yarn. And I know you do too. So here comes that mix of the hot pink and the turquoise. Gorgeous. Picking up the color, moving it to the white spots. You are totally in control when the water level is low enough. And y'all, it just takes experience and practice to learn how to judge your water level. I mean, there are times when I get it wrong still, and it's okay. It really is. It's part of the learning process. I mean, over the years that I've made mistakes or whatever, most of those mistakes have turned into be complete new colorways that I fall in love with. Case in point, Pesky Pixie that we did last week. That was a total mistake. One of my old standbys, Captain Jack, was a total mistake. Or experiment. It wasn't a mistake. That was when I was a real young baby dyer. So Captain Jack was a complete experiment. And my first like original colorway. And I still do it today. All right, so we're gonna put the lid on this. Crock pot is on high. And we're gonna go look at one of my other very first colorways called Panorama. Now this pot, I'm gonna just show you how deep. So the water is really deep compared to this. You couldn't see water swirling around. And this is just a skein of non-superwash wool. And it's just all messed up in there. Okay, so just the more random, the better for this colorway. I absolutely love this colorway. It's just one color. And this is a color movement lesson to where when you find these certain colors that have lots of different colors in their makeup, and you give enough room and enough water to let the color move around, you see all of the what we call breaking. So it's one color on the jar, right? So it's this on the jar, but then we're gonna see that it actually does change with not only movement, but also with a little bit of temperature. Okay, I'm going to just look through the comments real quick. Yes, water level, Jane, is super important. It is like the most important thing. Visual reminder on the ridges, and it does help keep that color in place until you're ready to smash those ridges down and let the color mix if that's what you want it to do. All right, here we go. Oh, protect myself. All right, spruce. So I'm gonna do a sprinkle, but no spread. Sprinkle and leave it alone. I don't want too much because this colorway does have a large amount of undyed yarn, even though the whole skein is in here. All right, here we go. I am going real heavy, right in just one spot. Now, if I filled this whole crock pot up, eventually almost the entire skein would be covered. It wouldn't be a semi-solid, but it would be more coverage than I want. Now, when I'm observing this, I'm observing how fast the color is moving or how slow it's moving. It's not moving very fast at all. So now is when I can encourage it by pulling, making the water move around the yarn. Watch this. This is going to be fun. Okay. Whoo! I just heard Michael Jackson do a little hee-hee, so I had to do one too. All right, so I pulled the yarn away from the edge to encourage the water, or to encourage the color to move a little bit. I don't want to touch it too much. This is when I get overly excited. And if I touch it too much, we're gonna have what I just explained, which is like most of it dyed and only a few white spots. And then the problem with that is, folks, the white spots do not look intentional at that point. But you can almost see this lighter color here. And the cool thing about this color, it changes with the heat. It'll turn into more of a green color. So let's check in on our jars. Hello, you. I just want to pinch the yarn in the jars to encourage movement of the color down deep at the end of the skein. Love that green. And then to test out whether or not all of this color is exhausted, I get my handy dandy, couldn't live without it. Yeah, not ready. The blue hardly ever is. Not ready, neither is the gold. All right. Just a little check-in on Gone Viral here. Oh, you look about the same as when I left you. And then this one we just saw. Good, so that'll be good. The color is doing some magic underneath there that I can't see. I just have to trust that. Have to trust that. Okay, so now you're back up to normal. Are you guys enjoying this one so far? I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to know that you've learned something new, that this is valuable or fun. I mean, I love having fun, and I wouldn't spend my Saturday Night Live any different. Okay, so to the light box we go. Whoop. Okay, this week I had a beautiful customer custom order some God of Thunder. Now, she is one of my longtime customers, and I so appreciate her always coming back and doing these custom orders. She does incredible work. So talk about color movement. Whenever this skein is knit up or worked up, the movement of this white is going to be so super random. And that, the inspiration was for the random, like, lightning bolts from God of Thunder. I'm an Avengers fan. Oh, look at that. That beautiful speckle as it goes with the white just showing up whenever it wants to. And the cool thing about this skein is that if, like when she winds this into a center pull ball, if she's knitting along and she's like, man, this is just so much white, I want some color, she can just stop where she is, go to the outside of the ball, and get the blue back. And that's really cool. So Jane, let's see what you wrote. I'm learning to proceed slowly and deliberately. Yeah. Yep, turning colors into mud. And so what I'm assuming, like whenever you say overdo everything, Jane, what I'm assuming that you're saying and that you're doing is that you're using way too much dye in the very beginning, and you're also maybe working with too high of a water level. So Jane, my question to you is, are you doing like sprinkle and spread, or are you making liquid dye stock? Because liquid dye stock is going to move way faster than sprinkle and spread. All right. I wanted to show you guys my progress on Casapinka, the Breathe and Hope shawl. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I have not ever knit myself anything out of my very own best-selling colorway, Ron and Hermione Forever. So this is Ron and Hermione Forever. It's a sock weight. Move this out of the way. And so I just wanted to show you guys, this is the Breathe and Hope shawl by Casapinka. And this is a pairing of Ron and Hermione Forever as the colorway. And then I did a custom semi-solid for myself because I really just love this soft pink. And I didn't want the semi-solid to be too dark, like this lovely dark maroon or the lovely dark turquoise or teal. I didn't want to overpower the colorway by having a dark semi-solid. So I'm glad I chose something that was almost like a contrasting color because the pattern just shows up so well. Let me turn off one of my pots real quick. Off with you. And y'all know that as a mom, I turn the pots off and then I just leave them overnight. I don't even worry about it. If I can just leave it overnight, cool. So this Breathe and Hope shawl is so fun. I'm really loving the pattern. So this is a learning shawl for me. I've never carried yarn in the back. So this is like knit 2 and then pass 2, or what do you call it? Pass 2 stitches over with the yarn in the back. Knit 2, pass 2 over, knit 2, pass 2 over. So it's a carry, and this is a great practice for those intermediate knitters, kind of like me. I am not an expert knitter by any stretch, that you can practice carrying. And then I also learned a technique of knitting in the stitch below, which almost makes these little hearts. It's so cute. It makes a nice texture. What else have I learned? Oh, carrying 2 yarns at once. So along this edge, I'm carrying 2 yarns at once. So we work 2 rows of color A and then 2 rows of color B. I've never done that before. So this is a great pattern for those knitters who are ready. Look, it looks like hearts. For those knitters that are, thank you, slip 2 stitches. So yeah, for the knitters that are ready for something intermediate, Breathe and Hope by Casapinka, highly recommend. Speaking of Casapinka, she is going to be releasing another free pattern in the next 2 weeks. So that first week of June, and I will have a free coupon code for those of you who want the pattern and buy at least 1 skein of yarn from me to complete your shawl. So it'll be fingering weight of any type of base or sock weight, and then 1 colorway and 1 semi-solid. So like if you have a really, really good semi-solid that you've really wanted to use, a really good colorway that you've wanted to use, or semi-solid, and you need a pairing yarn with it, and you really want to do this shawl, which is going to be kind of like this, lots of sections, but it's not going to be an identical match. So if you buy at least 1 skein of yarn for me, and y'all, I love custom dyeing yarn for you, and it's not any more expensive, then I'll give you the coupon code for the pattern. So yeah, talk to me about which colorways you most want to see or work with, that you've always wanted to work with, and we can get you a nice, fun, free pattern. So like I said, that's going to be the first week of June. Y'all, time is flying by so fast. I don't even know what day it is. And it just seems like the days are going by so quickly. All right. Yeah, I talked about how experimenting, and Jane, this goes back to what you were talking about. You just have to learn by doing, and don't beat yourself up. Whenever you think that you've flubbed up some yarn, don't beat yourself up, because you are learning. So my saying is, I'm either succeeding or I'm learning. I say that with my child. I say that with my yarn business. I say that with, cooking. So let's check on our yarn a little bit. I'm going to just hold you guys up so that you're not all flippity flop. Beautiful. I know that this isn't going to be exhausted, yeah. But we can still move it around a little bit. It's so pretty. That pink does take a long time to exhaust, so when I move the yarn around, I'm encouraging the yarn or the color to go to places it has not gone before and kind of sink in a little bit. Okay. The heat is not ready to be turned off on that one quite yet. Jars look gorgeous. I love it. We'll leave that one overnight. Now see how you can see almost completely into the yellow. So it's pretty much done. Another way is to see if it's running clear. It is, but y'all, if you leave this in overnight, all that extra little tiny bits of color will just soak into the fiber. And when you go to rinse it in the morning, it'll already be room temperature, so it's perfect. All right, I am telling myself heat is off. Let's look on Panorama. Gorge. I like that right in there. I like seeing the light blue. Now I know, yeah, it's just not hot. If it was hotter, not only would the color move quicker, but it would be a little more of a greenish color. This is a lovely one. So I'll leave that one alone for a while. Y'all want to see the yarn that Miles helped me dye, my son Miles. He chose the colors. Purple, green, and blue, Mommy. So he wants me now to knit him a sweater. And I said, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So again, if you didn't join us in the very beginning, this is the Gone Viral. Let me just spread it all out. So there's my Gone Viral minis. That yellow, blue, and green are going to accompany this. And then I will make one set of minis that has this nice grayish navy and the pink. And then, of course, one of my most popular semi-solids in the minis, like for the Ravenclaws in the house, is this gorgeous, which is the same, I have you know, it's the same exact color as this dark color. So isn't that crazy? This color is this color. So when this color interacts with the pink, it turns more black. All right. So that is all I have for you tonight. Thank you for joining me. Make sure that if you want that free coupon code for she hasn't even named it yet, the Casapinka shawl that will be released first week of June, you can message me, you can comment here, and you have to have purchased in that time at least one skein of yarn from either my Etsy shop or talk to me, message me. I love talking to my customers, getting you exactly what you want. So if you're like, yeah, I just really want something that'll go well with this yarn that I already have, this can be half stash busting and half get something new and fun for yourself. And I have fun as well dyeing it up for you. Have a fabulous Saturday. I totally forgot what the theme is for next Saturday, but I do know that the first Friday in June, my Yarn 101 class is going to be about safety, personal protective equipment. So please join me if you are a new dyer, because not only am I going to talk about the importance of dust masks, but I'm going to talk about some best practices that I've developed over the 9 years of dyeing yarn, and I will relay that information to you, especially if you're into or want to get into dyeing with acid dyes that have the heavy metals in them. I mean, and there's even some little tricks that would even help you with Kool-Aid dyeing, Wilton icing gel dyeing. So tune in first Friday of June. I think that's the 5th. And that's my Yarn Dyeing 101. Invite your friends, start your watch party, and I will see you guys next Saturday, and have a lovely rainy weekend. Bye.